The rise of David. In the land of Israel, during the time of the judges, there was a man named Jesse who lived in Bethlehem. Jesse had 8 sons, and the youngest of them was David. David was a shepherd, tending to his father's sheep in the hills around Bethlehem. He was known for his bravery and his skill with a sling, which he used to protect the sheep from wild animals. Meanwhile, the Philistines, a powerful enemy of Israel, gathered their armies for battle against King Saul and the Israelites. Among the Philistine forces was their champion warrior, Goliath of Gath. Goliath was a giant of a man, over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy armor and wielding a massive spear. He challenged the Israelites to send out a champion to face him in single combat, with the winner determining the outcome of the entire battle. David's call to action. One day, Jesse sent David to the battlefield to bring provisions to his older brothers who were serving in King Saul's army. When David arrived at the camp and heard Goliath's challenge, he was filled with righteous anger. While his brothers mocked him for being young and inexperienced, David's resolve only grew stronger. He went to King Saul and declared, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. I will go and fight him." Saul, impressed by David's confidence, tried to equip him with his own armor. However, David found it too cumbersome and chose instead to go into battle with his shepherd's staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones he picked up from a nearby stream. The battle against Goliath. As David approached Goliath, the giant scoffed at him. "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" he mocked. But David replied boldly, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." With that, David ran toward Goliath, slinging one of his stones with all his might. The stone struck Goliath squarely in the forehead, and the giant fell face down on the ground. David rushed forward, took Goliath's own sword, and with it, he severed the giant's head. The Philistines, seeing their champion defeated, fled in terror, and the Israelites pursued them in victory. David's rise to prominence. David's victory over Goliath made him a hero throughout Israel. He was brought before King Saul, who inquired about his background. David explained how he had killed lions and bears to protect his father's sheep, demonstrating his courage and skill. From that day on, David became a close companion of Saul, serving him faithfully. He gained popularity among the people for his military prowess and his humility. However, Saul's jealousy grew as David's fame spread, and he made several attempts to kill David out of fear that David would usurp his throne. David's trials and tribulations. Despite Saul's attempts on his life, David remained loyal and refused to harm the king, whom he respected as God's anointed. He fled from Saul's court and lived as a fugitive, gathering a band of loyal followers who became known as David's mighty men. During this time, David faced many challenges and hardships, but he continued to trust in God's guidance. David anointed as king. After many years of fleeing from Saul, David received word that Saul and his sons had been killed in battle against the Philistines. David mourned the loss of Saul and Jonathan, Saul's son and David's close friend. He then returned to Hebron, where he was anointed as king over the tribe of Judah. Gradually, David's kingship was recognized by all the tribes of Israel. He established Jerusalem as his capital and brought the Ark of the Covenant there, making it the religious center of the nation. David's reign as king. As king, David led Israel to many military victories, expanding its territory and securing its borders. He established a strong and prosperous kingdom, renowned for its justice and righteousness. David was also known for his musical talents and composed many psalms, which are collected in the Book of Psalms in the Bible. David's sin and repentance. However, David was not without faults. One of the most well-known incidents in his life was his affair with Bathsheba, the wife of one of his loyal soldiers, Uriah. David's actions led to a series of tragic events, including the death of Uriah and the loss of God's favor upon David's household. When confronted by the prophet Nathan, David acknowledged his sin and repented deeply before God. He composed Psalm 51 as a prayer of confession and repentance, seeking God's forgiveness and restoration. David's legacy. David's reign as king of Israel is remembered as a golden age in Israel's history. Despite his flaws, David's deep faith in God and his devotion to justice and righteousness left an enduring legacy. He was revered as a model of kingship and a man after God's own heart. Conclusion. The story of David and Goliath, along with the life of King David, continues to inspire people around the world. It teaches us about courage in the face of adversity, faith in God's providence, and the importance of humility and repentance. David's story reminds us that even the most unlikely individuals can achieve greatness through God's strength and guidance.